All right, my little helper here helped me gather some more hay. You got hay? Or straw, I guess, and old hay. We did a little bit yesterday evening. Got the start of everything where you can see we're starting to widen out a few of the paths and put it over our opening, and this is just to keep weeds down. So we're gonna keep it going and get some of these paths a little wider, and then we'll start putting it around the outer edge too. But let's see how far this bit gets us. All right, that load did pretty good. We got the onions outlined, the rhubarb outlined, and the tomato row and basil row pretty well outlined. So probably one more big cartload will get us this outlined, and then we'll probably need a whole nother one to outline the edge of the corn and beans. And again, those I didn't do a bunch of rows in there. I just have it as one big plot, same with how I did my pumpkins. So that will again be one big outline in there too. And then we'll have to go all the way around. So it's kind of nice. It gives you something to do with the dried up hay that has kind of gone to waste. Oh, I'm coming. Ready? And bah. Ow. Oh, you okay? So it gives you something to do with that dried up hay that goats and sheep and even donkeys tend to waste a little of on the ground. I know. And some of that old straw that you don't need anymore. So we're gonna go get another load and see how far we can get. All right, we've got round 2. I lost my buddy. So we're gonna see how far this round gets us. All right, that one went actually further than I thought it would. I got another couple rows done here, and this one started. Boop, boop, boop. This one started. Yeah, so I like to do that because it marks my paths, and it also just gives a little bit more shade to that dirt to not let weeds come through, and also just keep the dirt more moist for water. As plants start to come up, or like how we have the bigger ones like the lettuce and the peppers and everything, once I get the paths all done, the next focus will be on collecting more hay or straw or grass clippings when we mow next week to get right up to the base of the plant. Because if you can get to the base of that plant, again, it's gonna help get the weeds, or it will help stop the weeds from coming up. And also where we have our garden, I really love it because it's sunny, but it is truly full sun. And even plants that say full sun really have a hard time in that beating hot sun as small plants. So the more shade that you can provide to at least the soil, to help the soil keep its moisture in, the better it's going to be for the plants. Some of our plants that we did the first day, like our beans, corn, and cucumbers, have taken a beating in the heat. About half of them aren't around anymore, but that's okay. We live and we learn, and we will replace those ones with some seeds just straight planted into the ground and get those back. And then yeah, these other ones I'm gonna get trimmings right up to the plant as they grow. All of these ones are ready for me to go right up to the plant, and so that will help keep this, because with this beating down sun, this dirt gets dried out really quickly. So we're gonna do everything we can to help keep the dirt a little more moist. And then as the other lettuce and carrots and everything start to pop, we'll put some trimmings up in there too. And then what's nice is once the garden is like exploding in a month and a half to 2 months, we won't have to do that so much. You're not gonna have to worry about really anything but maybe the pathways over and over again. But as things get big, it shades itself, and then you have that moisture in the ground really nicely. So yeah, that's where we are. I think I'm gonna pause for the day because it is Mother's Day, and as much as this makes me so happy and I love it, I also just want to chill and stare at my kids and animals. So hopefully you guys are having an awesome Mother's Day too, and got a fun project done, or just relaxed all day long, any of that, because y'all deserve it. Momming is work. So hopefully you guys enjoyed your day. Hopefully you got a cool little tip or trick out of this video that will help you, and keep watching because we're just gonna keep working. Garden update, y'all. Some things are popping, some more than others, but I'll take whatever my seeds will give me. So we've got some sunflowers here. I did them all around the edges. So far these are the only ones coming up yet. We've got some gourds and pumpkins popping here, bunch over there. I notice it's kind of funny. You can definitely tell certain areas of the garden do better than others. So you can tell some plants like more of that direct sun and some don't. Like our marigolds on this side are struggling. And I don't know if they get more or less sun, or maybe even I'm thinking maybe too much water. This is the side that I come and water from. So they get more water than all the marigolds at the end over here. And all the marigolds over here are beautiful with big flowers. So let's go through and see what else we've got. So here I have loofah gourds planted. I think I have to replant because I thought this was a loofah gourd when it first came up, but it is very clearly a sunflower. It's a volunteer from a sunflower that came down last year. So I always leave my volunteer gourds and sunflowers because they're my favorite thing. We've got a couple more volunteers here, and I have some throughout the garden over there as well. This line is my cucumbers. I lost almost every plant except for like these two sad ones when I planted them, and they look like they're just struggling. I don't know that they're gonna do anything. I've put cucumber plants or cucumber seeds in here 2 more times, and I've got one popping there and one popping there, and that's like it. I do need to weed the garden right now, but even still, it's kind of crazy. My first year doing cucumbers, we had them coming out our ear holes, and now it's like I can't do anything to get them to come up. The same has been with our beans, but we'll get to that when we get down there. Our rhubarb, massive as always, love it. The peppers and tomatoes on this side are doing awesome. They're doing really, really great right here. We've got our lettuce. These were bigger plants, so that's why they're so much bigger than the rest of these. But our lettuce row is popping. Where you see the empty space here and at the end there, that's where the carrots are. They take like a whole month to finally pop up. And also you really should kind of lay something over them to keep them shaded while the seeds are coming up, and I don't do that. So it usually does take them a little longer. By the time I'm thinking my carrots aren't going to do anything, I finally see some stuff. But yeah, so we've got our kind of bright green leaf lettuce here. Really far down, even kind of came over here a little bit. And then we've got another type of leaf lettuce right here that's got kind of a cool speckledness kind of to it. Into our Merlot leaf lettuce. Into our tatsoi, which is finally popping a few off right here. Tatsoi is so delicious. Absolutely love it. It's super hearty and just tastes great. This is cauliflower and broccoli, which we've never done before. They don't really look the greatest, but they don't look the worst. So we'll see how they do. I know that they like cooler temperatures, so I don't know that this was the best time of year to do those. But check out, I don't think I could have asked for better potato plants this year. It's so crazy. Last year did really great. But for the longest time, I didn't know what was weeds and what was potato plant. And I had a really hard time. But this year, thanks to my Uncle Ryan, it's just awesome because he brought his tractor over, and him tilling up as much as he did and going over and over this, it really made it so this was all awesome dirt, and it took so long for weeds to really come back in. And it gave the plants a really good amount of time to just pop up and do great, which is awesome. So this group of potatoes is doing awesome. I think we counted 30 plants that have popped. I think there's 12 that didn't. And I'm still gonna give them a little bit longer to see if anything comes out of the mounds. And then I'll probably put some green bean seeds on the mounds that don't have anything coming out, because like I mentioned earlier, I cannot get my green beans to do anything. It's crazy. Green beans, like the cucumbers, are usually the easiest thing that I deal with in our garden and the last thing I have issues with. But this year, when we put out the plants, right away they got burnt out, and then I tried to re-put seeds in, and some of them came back out, and then we got a ton of water, so that didn't do great either. But now we have these ones doing awesome, so that makes me feel a little better. With the potato plants doing so good, I don't feel as bad with the green bean plants not doing as good. So let's take a look at these guys. These I think are about a month old now, and you can see that they're really coming up great. I mound them to start. I don't put more dirt on them unless I start to see spuds coming out that need covered up. Otherwise, I just let them be and do their thing. Again, this is tilled up so good this year that they have plenty of space to grow within their mound and deep down, because this had a good like foot or so of loose dirt on it. So I didn't have to worry as much about mounding, which is really awesome. So let's take a look at the other side of the garden now. We've got all of our onions over here, which are doing awesome. I don't think I've ever had as many onions as I did this year, and I just planted every kind. I have white, purple, yellow. They're all doing super fantastic. So we've got this whole row of probably over 100 just in this row. And then at the end of our basil row here, I kind of gave a good gap in between, and then we have some more onions there, including a handful of like really super sweet onions. And speaking of basil, it is finally popping. I have the one green basil plant here. I'm obsessed and I love basil. And then what's cool that you can kind of finally see popping if it shows up is I actually planted purple basil. So that's what's gonna grow throughout here. And it's nice because these cute little starts are easy to tell between the basil and the weeds because the basil's purple. And it's growing right next to some more tomato. So I like to plant things next to each other that do well. You eat tomato and basil together, then it's kind of a given that you can plant them next to each other. And then your lettuce next door. You got your salad to put your tomatoes in with your basil. Kind of perfect. And like I said, we've got some onions at the end of this. I've got some peppers here. And then I've got some herbs right at the end here, some thyme and parsley. And then this is where there's supposed to be a bunch of green beans. And as you can see, there's not. So I don't really know what the problem is here, if it's just getting far too much sun. I have, for the third time, put more green bean seeds in. So we'll see if those do anything. I do have a ton of corn popping up. I don't know if it's really easy to see right now, but there is 2 or 3 rows of corn, and I do have 1 more pack of corn seeds. So I will also do another set of corn within those. So I like to do the seeds kind of over and over again, even if things are popping, because it's nice to just kind of have a harvest where you're harvesting some and then you have a little time and you can harvest some more. Then it doesn't feel as overwhelming to me when I'm trying to get it all ready for the freezer. As of right now, we don't can things. I don't know how to. And honestly, our garden is just big enough for us to kind of freeze and get everything eaten before the next season anyway. So right now I don't really grow enough that I need to can, and we have a big upright freezer. So again, we don't really need to can when we have the space to freeze it instead. So that's what we do. And then obviously everything else that can be dry. Oh, there's a green bean plant. There's a little green bean plant right there and right there. There's a couple that have popped up. That's cool. So yeah, so that's how the garden's doing so far. Some things are being kind of tricky this year, but you know what? Other things are being so good that I'll take it. I still think this is gonna be our best garden yet. I just have to get my loofah gourds, my green beans, and my cucumbers in line, and we'll be absolutely perfect. I just can't wait to see what this garden's gonna bring. It hasn't even been a month yet, and it's looking really good. So stay tuned, and hopefully you will just see this explode within the next month as we get warmer weather and some more rain, hopefully, because I'm not the best at watering my garden. So I kind of like when it finally takes hold and does really well, like with big plants, because then that's all the less I water it, honestly. And even when I am watering it myself, once plants really reach a good size, I only like to water it like once every 3 days. You want those roots to really go deep and be searching for that water. And the way you do that is by watering every other day or every 3rd day, really, really good soaking kind of waters, and then let them go a day or 2 without it. And that's where you'll get those really, really strong, awesome plants. But you want to do that once they're a good size. When they're little, you want to be watering every day. You don't want the dirt to get really dry because you don't want your plants to struggle to come up out of it, to get their seeds off, and to really take hold. So right now, we're still kind of at the babying stage, but things are looking awesome, and I know I'm going to be eating some good stuff. My leaf lettuce at the front right there, I can actually already cut off and make salad and eat, because you can cut that and it continues to grow back. And those are finally big enough for me to take some off. But I'm kind of waiting until they get slightly bigger before I start taking from them. I'd still like to line the outside of the garden with straw to keep some of the weeds back. And then really my goal, hopefully sometime this year, is to plant some big tall grasses on the outside of the garden as well, because that will give it some much needed shade. Like I said, even your plants that want full sun don't really want full sun. Our garden is in an amazing spot because of all the sun it gets, but it also makes it really tough on the earlier plants. So if you can get some grasses up on this side, then it will shade them in those morning hours when they're really wanting that kind of cool, dewy moisture a little bit longer in the day than what they're getting right now. So just another job for the old hubby to help me with. But stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we just keep getting more and more to pop. Our two little lambs. Looks like I'm not little. Princess Darling. Eh. Look at those 4 horns.
She looks like the Statue of Liberty.
She does.